All right, beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. And with that motion from Allison, we get to move on to the fun part of the evening. It's time to celebrate because, as you know, we did it. We got Blue Triton to leave Ontario water bottling. I just want to hear the feeling even of everyone wooing together from their chairs from the different corners of Ontario and the Great Lakes and Turtle Island that we all inhabit and are joining from. Can I get a woo? It feels so incredibly exciting to be arriving into this moment. As so many of you have heard and seen and shared in the excitement and joy with us through this time. We are thrilled to officially announce together that Blue Triton is closing all water bottling facilities in Ontario as of January, as in 2 months from now. It is so incredibly exciting to be sitting in that reality that not only did we get Nestle to leave North American bottling, that we're now seeing Blue Triton exiting Ontario. And we just want to get to be in this together and to get to share a little bit about how everything has unfolded over the last little bit. We've been waiting for this moment to actually get together to do this. So really excited, just to kind of demystify what's been going on the last couple months as we've approached this huge announcement, and the story behind this win. We now know that secretly in the summer, Blue Triton had begun putting feelers out to see if anyone would privately like to acquire their bottling business. They tried to get it off the ground a few times, a sale to another water bottler in the area, and all their attempts failed. So in September, little rumblings of something started coming forward. We got an anonymous tip. We got contacted by the media saying, "Have you heard anything?" And we hadn't yet. But the message that was coming to us is something's happening with Blue Triton, and we're going to see an announcement coming forward soon. So we didn't. We just kind of sat back and tried to see what was going to come our way, and we were absolutely blown away when we heard from a friend of a friend, who works for Blue Triton and was part of the meetings where this was announced, that Blue Triton is closing all their Ontario bottling operations. And at first, we didn't believe it. We said to ourselves, can this actually be true? And just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then when we like really started getting the confirmations that yes, this is happening, which came in kind of in between that first day that we heard and the beginning of November, we started to reach out to our partners that have been a part of this win to prepare for the media because we knew it was going to be just like this big, joyful news, and to try and answer our questions that were bubbling up because everyone wanted to know, like, okay, well, what's happening with the sites then? What's happening with the wells? What's going to happen to the permits to take water? And the answer is that we still don't know, on all those fronts, and we're still working hard behind the scenes to try and get answers, but also guide the outcomes that are going to be coming forward on all those unanswered questions. But then on November 11th, we actually got to announce and celebrate in our community this joyful news that Blue Triton is leaving water bottling in Ontario. And I just want to take a moment to situate us into the reality that as much as it feels like it was just this little moment and whoa, like we won, that if we zoom back out, this is built on the legacy of 18 years of fierce advocacy, first against Nestle and now against Blue Triton. And just looking back, Water Watchers itself was formed around a kitchen table in 2007. In 2008, we became a proper nonprofit with our nonprofit status. Between then and 2017, we saw like so many actions fueled by the people in Wellington County specifically and adjoining neighbors on educational campaigns like the Message in a Bottle campaign about like why we don't need plastic water, messages sent to all of our representatives at all our levels, and like 40,000 actions taken over that time, which is just an insane testament to the pressure that it takes to build towards an outcome like this. In 2018, we won a moratorium for permits to bottle water. The province stopped issuing permits to review their system. While we didn't love the outcome that they came back with in 2019, we held a huge rally in partnership with Six Nations against Nestle. 2 years later, Nestle announced that they were leaving North America. Unfortunately, on their way out, they sold their business to two private equity firms who formed the business Blue Triton. But you know what? It hasn't been a long stint with them. And whatever comes next, we know that we're going to be victorious too, because as we've learned this year, Blue Triton is now on their way out too. And we're going to see that shift happen so quickly, so fiercely. And you know that while we're celebrating online together right now, we are also going to be planning a big party in 2025. So please stay posted, stay connected, so that we can actually celebrate together in person too. So just as a situating us back into this moment, there's still a lot that we don't know. And as much as we are still working behind the scenes, still working in partnerships with our partners at Six Nations, we are confident now that Blue Triton really is leaving. There's not another shoe that's going to drop, at least with Blue Triton. And we are so proud of each and every one of you who sustained this movement over 18 years and helped create this outcome. It's absolutely incredible. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to get to like capture together like our collective reaction to this moment. So we have a word cloud that you can do now. I'll also drop a link in the chat in case you don't have a phone for the QR code. But you can scan that QR code that's on the screen and it'll bring you to a place where you can put in your answer to like, how are you feeling about Blue Triton's exit from Ontario? And we'll share that a little later. But for now, I'm going to pass it over to Arlene, who is going to guide us into some other community reactions.
Yeah, and Danny, can I just also just ask, so folks may scan the QR code. Is there another way for them to access that if they can't? Or could you pop? Yeah, there we go. There we go. So as we're watching these come in, there are, I'm trying to in real time scroll through like our participant list. Like here, there's so many of you, so many names I know and recognize, and we have been doing this work for so long. But at this moment, and I should have given you a prompt before this, so I'm gonna like invite you now, Mark Goldberg, to come up. We're gonna bring you onto the screen. It is traditional that Mark Goldberg, who's the founder of this whole operation, it happened one day when Mark was driving back and noticed the Nestle sign there. So Mark, I'm going to invite you to do a toast, and then I'm going to like queue up. I think Shane Phillips is in the audience, and I think Maud Barlow is in the audience, amongst many others who we know and love and have been in deep community with. But Mark, could you kick this off with a toast?
Yes, thank you, Arlene. This is a great day. It's been a long struggle, and many people have taken up the cause. Arlene has been there from the very beginning, so thank you primarily, Arlene, for being there consistently for all this time. And Maud Barlow, it's so wonderful to see you join us. You've been almost our patron saint all these years. Um, and I definitely encourage everyone to read Maud Barlow's books on water if you haven't. So this is a wonderful day, and as Arlene mentioned, we traditionally have started our meetings at the Water Watchers from the very first day with a toast to water. So I would invite you to take a minute and grab a glass, fill it with water if you like. Some people think it's not a good idea to toast with just water, so champagne might be appropriate today. But we will have a toast to water, and I'm going to read a blessing written by Starhawk, who is a American feminist and author named Miriam Samos. So please join me in this toast. Praise and gratitude to the sacred waters of the world, to the oceans, the mother of life, the womb of the planet that freshens our air with oxygen, the brew that is stirred by sunlight and the moon's gravity into the great currents and tides that move across the earth, circulating the means of life, bringing warmth to the frozen Arctic and cool, fresh winds to the tropics. We give thanks to the blessed clouds and the rain that brings the gift of life to the land, that eases the thirst of the roots, that grows the trees, that sustains life even in the dry desert. We give thanks to the springs that bring life-giving water up from the ground, for the small streams and creeks, for the mighty rivers. We praise the beauty of water, the sparkle of the sunlight on the blue lake, the shimmer of the moonlight on the ocean's waves, the white spray of the waterfall. We take delight in the sweet singing of the dancing stream and the roar of the river and the flood. We ask help to know within ourselves all the powers of water, to wear down and to build up, to ebb and to flow, to nurture, to destroy, to merge and separate. We know that water has great powers of healing and cleansing, and we know that water is vulnerable to contamination and pollution. We ask help in our work as healers, in our efforts to ensure that the waters of the world run clean and free, and that all of Earth's children have the water they need to sustain the abundance of life. Blessed be the water. Thanks, Arlene. I'll turn it back to you.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Oh, thank you. It was very, very beautiful. Thank you. Mark, you started us off on this journey in 2007. I remember. I remember you invited me in those days. Amongst a whole lot of us who we are still all in connection with, and still, gonna be carrying on this advocacy for our community here and beyond. So thank you for those very beautiful words. They mean a great deal. I know, this is a tricky thing to select because like there's the whole audience list. I could like pull you all up and I want to, and we will. I think the thing that I want to say is that we will. We've had so many people. I don't know. Many of you were probably associated with us back in, when was that? What year was that? What year did we do Waterstock? 20, whatever. 20 something, we did Waterstock. And people have been asking for again. And it might be the time to do Waterstock too. But at the moment, I think we're going to bring Shane, if he's in, Shane Phillips, who's been very, very involved with this incredible level of devotion around like actually like walking for the water. Hey, Shane, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Really great. Thank you for jumping in. We're gonna give you give us like a brilliant caption, and we're gonna. Nice to see you, friend.
All good. It's funny. I was trying to get it.
Oh shoot! All right, we may also it may not work. We've been trying to connect with Shane, so how about we bring him back in? And if right now Can we take a moment to bring another incredible celebrity that we have amidst us? Maud, are you willing to join us on the screen right now? Um, Maud has been I don't know, everybody knows Maud Barlow. Everyone knows Maud Barlow. Maud was my deep inspiration when I was much younger in my life and like looking to this world of water advocacy. Your words profoundly impacted me and moved me into this. And in the last number of years, Maud, you've been like a touchstone for me. You've been a person I go to often for reflection and I'm so grateful you're here with us. I'm so grateful for your body of work. And we want to hear from you with also some interesting news you have to share tonight.
Well, first of all, thank you, Arlene and Sarah and Danny and Mark. My God, how lovely to see you. We met a long time ago. This is just absolutely fabulous. Congratulations to Water Watchers. We have just done absolutely amazing work. And I just want to say to everybody on the line, we need to continue to support in every way Water Watchers. And I gave money today to the Legal Fund Youth and Clan Mothers, Six Nations Clan Mothers. So I just really, all of us have to dig deep and find ways to support Water Watchers because the fight's not over, as we all know. We've had an incredible win here, and this is really powerful. I think back, I went to Elora in 2003 when Nestle, when the water of Wellington County was just a twinkle in Nestle's eye, right? And we've been fighting and fighting and fighting since then. And I want you to know, not only do we have this wonderful victory that we're celebrating, but today it was reported that Nestle in Europe, is probably divesting of its water unit, that there's been such fight back against it, that they're hiving it off. They're looking for partners, but Nestle looks like it's getting out of the water business. So this is very, very, very interesting. And it makes me want to say that when we have a movement, when we work together, we need to take the long view. Sometimes it can take a long, long time for the right thing to happen. And you think, oh, it'll never happen. Why don't I just give up? Because you can't give up, because it's really worth not giving up. And this is an absolutely perfect example of fighting for, 20 years to come to this place. And now the next stage, of course, is getting the government to, at all levels in this country, to disallow bottled water takings. And I just want to say one thing about hope, and I could just effuse with you all so much, but just to say that we need to grieve, but we must not despair. And we have problems coming with the Trump administration, including his notion that we've got a big faucet that we turned off and that he wants turned back onto the U.S. We mustn't give up. I quote in my book on hope that Clarissa Estes, who's an American poet and writer, and she says, I feel despair, but I don't set a place for it at my table, which I love. So I'm just going to end with just a paragraph from my book on building a movement. And that's this. Let me share with you what I have learned from years of activism fueled by hope, personal and collective. It's not about winning a particular cause or even a campaign. It's about building a movement that is sustainable. It's about democracy. It's about supporting one another through hard times. It's about laughter and good food together. It's about long hours, driving to long meetings. We all know that. It's about trust and friendship. It's about protecting all that is good for future generations and the planet. It is about commitment to a dream that's larger than any sum of its parts. We have to learn to see victory in small things, a new friend, an emerging network, information we didn't have before, and we have to recognize that sometimes our victories come as subtle, complex, slow changes instead of the big wins we might like, and we need to count them anyway. I have learned that it is always too soon to give up and always too soon to go home. And that is Water Watchers' legacy and and deep vein of hope for all of us. So I thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm thrilled to be part of this tonight.
Well, Maud, thank you so much, Maud. You so graciously join us all the time. As mentioned, you've been like, I can imagine the realm of folks in this Zoom room who've been inspired by you, and you continue to inspire us. Thank you for your words. They are they make me think of humility, and I think in this time, like as I opened, thinking about how we're exceeding our planetary limits, like humility is actually the piece that we're leaning into right now. Deep humility around how do we stay in relationship as we unpack this business. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, so deeply. Thank you. I want to see. I think we maybe brought Shane in. Shane, are you here? Shane, I'd love to give you like a moment here to say a few words.
I am here.
Hi.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. It's funny how I like to consider myself or my actions self-sustaining. I don't need energy other than from the energy that's within, and yet my laptop stopped working when I needed to talk to you guys, reach out across a chasm. But I think that's what we have to do, is reach out to the people that seem so far away from us, ethically, spiritually, idealistically, and to find that common shared reality. And for me, it started with water. That was the one thing in my travels that unites all people of all religions, all ethnicities, is that at the end of the day, the equality comes down to water. And I really just decided that would be my way in the government of Canada. If you can't do the simple task of giving everyone clean water, then I don't really take you seriously for much. And to me, this is like the easiest thing that we could do other than bombing countries. And starting there. And that was really the starting point, to see that maybe become a what.
Hey there, Shane. I think we're having some connectivity issues. So I think maybe we'll figure out a way. Sorry, Shane, maybe we'll figure out a way to like capture what you're sharing. We just couldn't hear you. It was glitching in and out. And oh my goodness, I see so many like folks here I'd like to pull forward, and time is ticking. So we've got a few minutes left on our meeting. Yep. Sorry.
Mark just wanted to say a couple words of thanks to Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if all of you know Shane, but I just wanted to mention that during one of our campaigns, Shane walked from Guelph City Hall down to the Nestle plant in Aberfoyle, and then for a rally, and then continued to walk all the way down to Clapperson's Corners on Highway 6, turned left at Dundas Street, and walked all the way to City Hall. To Queen's Park. He walked all the way to Queen's Park to protest the issuing of permits to Nestle. So he is a water warrior and has been for many years. And in concert with what Arlene was saying, maybe a shout out is due also to Rob Case, who's been on the board of the Water Watchers for many, many years and chaired the board for a long time. And also to an incoming board member, Karen Rathwell, who was the principal at the Gateway School at the time that we did our very first trial of message in a bottle. We did a pilot project first at her school, and she was brave enough to be the principal who said, "Yeah, try my school." And as a result of that pilot project, we were able to give out 25,000 stainless steel water bottles with lessons attached to them about how to use the water bottle and use it instead of plastic bottles. So thank you, Karen, for all your efforts and for signing up for another 3 years. I'll hand it back to you, Arlene.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. I'm seeing chats. I'm seeing people in the screen. Patrick was on one of those walks. We like, oh gosh, there's so many. There's so many accolades. And I'm gonna tell you, I just want to say that we are gonna have a party where we're gonna like totally celebrate everybody and all we've all done, all the things that we've done that will happen. This is like a touch point for those. And we're like so deeply embedded in here, and it's just incredible. And so many of you are here, and so many have, like, honestly, tens of thousands of people made this possible. Tens of thousands of people made this possible. And we are amongst that community, and we all just need to, like, just do a really solid, like a really solid pat on our back, and a maybe even like a great big old hug, because if we're not like in vicinity of somebody who can do that right now, let's just like thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We did it. We did it.
It's really humbling to think about like the legacy that this really comes from. And I just want to say too, we are gonna try and stay on time for closing at the meeting today, like fully finishing at 8 today. So just like 10 minutes from now. But I'm gonna leave the Zoom room on for a little while afterwards. If you want to stay
Yeah.
and like record a statement about anything that you want to share about like what this moment means to you, about the legacy that you've been a part of, like these pieces of the last 18 years that have created this moment. Please do stay on, and we'll go through everyone who wants to do that one at a time and keep it for our official organizational record and the storytelling for this movement that we're really, really lucky to be a part of. I do want to take a second just to share back the word cloud that you all created with your responses of like how it feels to be coming into this moment. So the ideas of hope are the way that the word cloud works is the more times something is said, the bigger it gets on the word cloud. And so I just love that it's hope and excitement that are at the center of all of this. We've been hearing that so much. It wasn't our intention to be delivering this news of Blue Triton as a glimmer of hope in this kind of broader feeling of like a challenging moment. But we've heard that time and time again from folks from our community that that's really how it's hitting and how it feels. And it's just a really beautiful thing to get to share in with each other. So we'll make sure that we share back this word cloud too as a part of our follow up from this meeting.
Great.
Arlene, do you want to dive in on what's ahead for us?
Yeah, I'm going to, okay, because I too am watching the clock. So I'm going to make this extremely succinct, and then we have invited a wonderful poet to help close us out this evening. So what I want to make very succinct is that we are going to celebrate hard. That's a given. We're going to make a big old celebration, and we're going to all like acknowledge all of the pieces that we have contributed to make this thing happen. But we know this work is not yet done. We do not know what is happening with the current operations. We do not know if they're endeavoring to sell them. We do not understand which parts they're selling, which parts they're not selling. There's all sorts of pieces that we do not know yet, so that's yet to be discerned. What we do know is that our original goals of phasing out permits for permits to take water for the purposes of water bottling need to be phased out. So that's a piece that we know we need to commit to going forward. We also know that we need to commit to enshrining a legal framework for the responsibility. Oh, thank you, Danny. You always have these at hand. But I think like even beyond this, like a framework that is a responsibility for our federal government to make sure that water is a human right for all. Those are our high level arching goals. And within that, we have a separate, like 5 calls here that we are asking for right now in this immediate transition. The first is that, we feel a lot of empathy for the folks who work there and now no longer have a job. We have been advocating for this for 18 years. Like everybody's had like a lot of time to think about and I'm not talking about the people working there. I'm talking about the industry. I'm talking about the government and the responsibility of extractive industries to take on like what will this world look like when we can no longer extract at infinitum? Like what does that mean for the economy here? The economy here and for workers here. So our call is for Blue Triton facilities to initiate a just transition for current employees. Our next one is that Blue Triton returns ownership of the Nestle wells to local Indigenous informed stewardship, and that these wells are never used for corporate profiteering from water again. So we are working very closely with youth and clan mothers from Six, and they're making a call to action around a return to this well. Please stay tuned, because this is, I think, the next really significant piece of our campaign. That Blue Triton compensates Six Nations for the years of water taking without consent and in the face of cease and desist orders for many, many years. And lastly, the last 2 ones that are the overarching ones, the province of Ontario phases out all permits to take water for bottling, and that the government of Canada legalizes the human right to water for all. The government of Canada has stated it as a human right, but we have no legal framework to make sure that it is enforceable in any way. In order to do this, we need money. I'm just going to be very blunt about this because we have only a few minutes. We need money to do this. We've done so much in these 18 years. We've done it because of everybody contributing in all the ways that we can. We can all contribute in different ways. Some of us it's time, some of us it's energy, some of it's money. And we need money to push this one over the finish line. And it is a big call. Right now, our major call is a call to help support this return of the Aberfoyle well, particularly to Six Nations. We do not have details around that yet. It will be emerging, but youth and clan mothers right now are mobilizing around this. And we are committing to supporting what that looks like. So please help us. Please share the word. Please spread the word. We're going to be sending out some emails about this. We'll have some links here. We're going to share the links. This is like a real act of solidarity. This is a real act of embedding into what it means to live and look like what it is to be in this dish with one spoon territory. What does water mean within this territory? Should it be for profiteering? Should it be for actual like Indigenous control? That's not even the right word. Indigenous stewardship over how that is governed in accordance with the agreements. So I'm gonna probably like move it on from there. I think I'm reflecting on what else we need to do. And I think that there are many that want to share things. Please do so in the chat. Danny, maybe you have something else to say, and then I'd like to pass it over to Lisa.
Yeah. So just in our last moments here, there's another mentee participation kind of moment, this idea of we shared the five emergent demands or calls to actions that we're seeing from our community, from our partnerships at Six Nations. And we also know that, again, like this isn't something that we've created alone. Like Water Watchers is all of you. And we want to know what the future of this campaign looks like to you too. What do you feel like is important for the future of this campaign? So you can scan that QR code there and just put any reflections there that you have for that. And then we'll also send it out in an email as well. And then just to bring us back into the idea that this work isn't just happening in isolation either. This is about the intersection of this idea of decolonize, protect, mobilize, reconnect. It's kind of become our new like informal motto that these four ideas are guiding everything that we do, embedding Indigenous solidarity into everything we do, protecting water at the center, getting our community to show up continuously for these things. And as Maud said, to not just have it be these actions, but this movement and this thing that we sustain in relationship and connection together. That's really, I think, the thing that we've created here. This win is from that. And just want to honor that legacy that's behind us, and that we'll be continuing it in our work ahead. So Arlene, I'll pass it over to you to introduce Lisa.
Right. Hey, so Lisa, I think you're here. I'm so sorry. I'm multitasking. Lisa, I hope you're here. I'm most grateful if you've joined us. And
I'm here. Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
So I'm going to just pass it over to you. Lisa, I've known you for a lot of years. You're an incredible, like, I don't know, channel of beauty in this community. And I'm so grateful you can join us. And I'm just going to pass it over to you right now.
Okay, thanks, Arlene. It's really wonderful to be celebrating with you folks. Yeah, I think we all needed some good news. So I've got two poems on the theme of water for you today. And the first poem is a love poem to the Everton Cascade, which is part of the Aramasa River in Everton, Ontario. I'm sure many folks on this call are familiar with this place. I love it because it's beautiful and it's also really interesting. And it was one of my favorite places to swim and hike. And then in the second year of the pandemic, access became really restricted, such that at one point there was a literal cop stationed at the side of the road, making sure no one hopped the fence. But before that, I went there often in the first pandemic summer. And this is a poem about that and about finding refuge in wild spaces in hard times. And I'm going to try and keep the Zoom window up just so someone can wave if you suddenly can't hear me. Trespassing again at the Everton Cascade. Mud sucks at my ankles. I stand up to my hips in a misfit stream, a river too wide or too narrow to have eroded the passage in which it flows, forever too much or not enough. The forest above me, pocked with bowls and cylindrical shafts where ice water flung rocks, lodged them in bedrock, drilling, carving columns with the rush and force of water. It must have been so loud for so long. There are people I love who might die before it's safe for us to touch again. This is only my pain, unless it's yours too. The water, just hip deep. I wish to be more present, don't we all? For something other than regret as anchor. But if the river is the suture that grief seeps around, why not throw in all my limbs, scatter the crayfish, then climb out to breathe and drip on the shore? All right, and this is my second and final poem. It's called When Whales Went Back to the Water. Say life began here in a tidal pool, or hot spring, or where the earth's core steams through fissures in the ocean floor. I like that all these theories are wet. I like to think of the first animal, born of chaos and collision, molecules whipping into cellular form. It is calming to think about geological timescales. Whales took only 10 million years to leave the land and commit to salt water. Who wouldn't want to sing to someone 10,000 miles away? I like that they swam, then walked, then returned to the water as mammals, with live births and blowholes, diving deeper than any other air breather to linger for hours. I had a story about how quiet it must be down there, but it's not anymore. I keep learning things about other people that I didn't want to know. I've been practicing, but can only hold my breath for 3 minutes. It is calming to think about large numbers, how many trillions of cells there are in me, most of them not even human. Dividing, dying, killing, feeding, excreting. I feel okay today, so I guess enough of them are cooperating with each other. The wallpaper on my phone says tolerate uncertainty over a picture of a whale. I like that I can't see the wrist or finger bones within its fins. I want to use the word kin like I've always known what it means. This body recalling times before topsoil, bread, or algebra, before doorways, bull kelp, forgetting, or photosynthesis. To reach back to being eager and alive as our common ancestor emerging in the flash and muck, alone, but knowing there would be more.